Alright, hey guys, OmniGamer here and I'm back with another collection video, and today guys, I'm finally going to do it. I teased this in my Far Cry 6 unboxing video I did 2 weeks ago, that I was going to do a updated Far Cry collection video, and I know this is a bit late because I said in that video that I was going to do the collection video like a few days afterwards, and now it's been over 2 weeks and I've only just gone around to actually doing it. But I'm finally doing it now. I'm finally going to show you guys my entire Far Cry collection. I know it's a bit late, but that's mainly because I was busy with college and just depression and just other stuff in my life. So that's the reason why it took me so long to finally get around to actually doing this. But anyway, so I did a Far Cry collection video about 3 years ago in 2018, and since then there's been 2 new entries released, and I've gotten a few more Far Cry games in the collection. Since then, I've got pretty much every console entry released thus far. I know I'm missing the original Far Cry on PC, which I do want to get at some point. I do have a trial version of Far Cry Classic on the Xbox 360, only the trial though, basically the demo. And that was sort of the console sort of remake of Far Cry 1, Far Cry Classic, that they did on the Xbox 60 and PS3 a few years ago. And I've also got the trial version for Blood Dragon as well, Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, also on the Xbox 60. And I've also got Far Cry 3 Classic Edition digitally on my PS4, which my dad downloaded on there back when my PS4 was originally his. And he got the gold edition of Far Cry 5, which came with Far Cry 3 Classic Edition for free. Of course, there is a physical edition of Far Cry 3 Classic Edition for PS4, which is the remaster of Far Cry 3, which I do want to get, but at the moment I've only got the game digitally. In fact, I might actually show you all of my digital Far Cry games at the very end of this video. But for now, these are all the physical Far Cry games I own, and like I said, it's pretty much every console entry released thus far from 2005 up till 2021. So yeah, with all that being said, let's just get straight into it. Right, so let's start things off with the oldest Far Cry game I own, and that is Far Cry Instincts on the original Xbox. This game is pretty interesting for a lot of different reasons. First of all, it was the first Far Cry to actually be developed by Ubisoft. Yeah, now Ubisoft did publish the original Far Cry on PC, but they weren't the ones who developed it. Instead, Crytek, which their logo is right there, as you can see, who would later be known for making the Crysis games and Rise Son of Rome as well, which was an Xbox One launch title. They were the ones who made the first Far Cry, but from Far Cry Instincts onwards, the games would all be developed in-house by Ubisoft. I think specifically Ubisoft Montreal, because Ubisoft have a bunch of different studios across the world, and I think it's Montreal, their Canadian division, that is the team that usually makes the Far Cries, I think. So yeah, this was an Xbox exclusive, released back in 2005, and yeah, got a complete right there. It's quite an underrated game actually. It's quite different to the rest of the games because it's not as open-ended as the others or the original Far Cry. It's a lot more linear, and that's mainly due to system limitations of the Xbox. This was going to be on the PS2 and GameCube as well, but those versions were cancelled, and no one really knows why. They just were. Alright, and then next up we have the expansion pack to Far Cry Instincts, Far Cry Instincts Evolution. This was released in early 2006, also exclusive to the original Xbox. And yeah, this is basically just a new single-player campaign for Far Cry Instincts. There wasn't really too much difference between this and the original game. I think you get a new weapon in Evolution that wasn't in the original. And also you start the game off from the beginning with all the feral abilities, because I forgot to mention this, but Far Cry Instincts introduced like these feral abilities that Jack Carver can use, so you can like uppercut enemies with like your claws and stuff. You can see enemies in the dark. You've got like super speed, and yeah, there's a lot of cool like feral abilities that you unlock pretty early on in Far Cry Instincts, but you don't have it right from the start, whereas in Evolution you do have all the abilities right from the start. But other than that, it's pretty much just yeah, it's just a new single player campaign for Instincts. So if you like Instincts, you'll definitely love Evolution, because it's basically just more of the same. And then next up we have Far Cry Vengeance. Fun fact, this is the only Far Cry game to ever be released on the Wii, and it's also the worst reviewed one. Yeah, I'm sure some of you would know if you've played this game before. Far Cry Vengeance is kind of a mess. I mean, it's a Wii remake of Far Cry Instincts Evolution, but it's obviously scaled back to work on Nintendo Wii. And yeah, this game is pretty, let's just say not the best. I mean, it has a lot of like technical issues with it. I mean, it stutters a lot. There's a lot of like texture popping and stuff. The FMVs are extremely compressed, and it's just overall a worse off version of Instinct's Evolution. I mean, there's literally no reason to get this game today other than, say, if you're a massive Far Cry fan and you want to own all the games. Other than that, just honest to God, just don't waste your time with Vengeance. I mean, gameplay wise, I mean, it plays decently. It plays about as well as a FPS on a Wii can, but overall, it's just a crappier version of Instinct's Evolution. Just don't waste your time with it unless you're a die-hard Far Cry fan. You need to own all the games. But otherwise, just play Instinct's Predator on the Xbox 360, which this game is basically both Instinct's games on the original Xbox, remastered for the 360. They have, better textures, slightly better graphics, and yeah, you get both games on one disc. And also, this version of Instinct is also backwards compatible with both the Xbox One and Xbox Series X, and it's the only way you can actually play Instincts on more modern hardware. But so if you want to play any of the Far Cry Instincts games, Instinct's Predator is definitely the one to get, because you get these two on one disc with better graphics. Plus, because the game's backwards compatible, you can play this on your newer Xbox consoles. And yeah, just don't bother with Vengeance unless you want to get the full set like I did. But anyway, so that's all the Far Cry Instincts games. And now let's talk about the mainline games, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with. So, starting off, we've got Far Cry 2 here for the Xbox 360. This one is a very unique game compared to the rest of the series. A lot of people really like this one because of how realistic it is, with having like malaria and you have to get like the pills and stuff, and also your guns jamming up midway through a gunfight. And yeah, it's a very, very unique game. There really isn't any other first-person shooter like it, with the whole like African setting. And yeah, it's a very realistic, shooter, and yeah, it's very unique. Got it complete right there. It does come with the map, which I do have here. I'm doing this one-handed, so yeah, that's why I'm struggling right now to get this fucking manual out. Oh my god. Yeah, there's the map right there. The only Far Cry game to actually come with a physical map, but yeah, I can't be asked to get it out and show you the whole thing right now. But yeah, there you have it, Far Cry 2. And here we have by far the most iconic Far Cry 3, released in 2012, featuring the series' most iconic villain, Vaas. And yeah, what more do I need to say? It's Far Cry 3. It's, for most people, their introduction to the series. And yeah, it's the most well-known one, by far. And there is a remaster on this, which you can get for PS4 and Xbox One. It's the Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, which I did mention earlier. I do have digitally on my PS4, but I still want to get the physical edition of that at some point. But yeah, but for the time being, I've just got the original release physically. And next up, we have Far Cry 4, which was the final Far Cry to be released on Xbox 60 and PS3, as well as the first one to be released on PS4 and Xbox One. And yeah, it feels pretty much like an expansion to Far Cry 3. I mean, it doesn't feel a whole lot different in comparison, other than like the new villain, Pagan Min, and the map being different and stuff. Gameplay wise, it's pretty much identical to Far Cry 3, and the Xbox 360 version is, I think, pretty much content complete, other than the graphics obviously being hugely downgraded. It's pretty much the exact same as playing on PS4 and Xbox One. I think all the content's still there. I don't know of any like major differences between the 7th and 8th gen versions of Far Cry 4, other than the visuals. And then right here I've got the PS4 version. This is of course the main version, and obviously the better version of Far Cry 4 to get. I got this and Far Cry Primal as part of the Far Cry double pack, which I bought on eBay a few years ago. There it is, complete. And yeah, Far Cry 4 I actually played more than Far Cry 3. I'm going to be honest, Far Cry 2 and 3 are the ones that I've played the least out of all these games. It doesn't mean I don't like them. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean I don't like them. I just don't really have the time to actually like properly play these games. I mean, I have played them, but just not that much. I played the more recent games a lot more, and even the Instincts games a lot more. But yeah, at some point I do want to give these two another shot, and also Far Cry 4 as well, because it's been about a year or so since I last played this game. And then we've got Far Cry Primal right here on PS4. This one, just like Far Cry 2, is a very unique entry into the series because this is the only one that takes place during the Stone Age. And, because of that, you don't have like any guns or anything. You have to use like spears and stuff because, you're a caveman. And yeah, it's a very unique game. And it's another game in the series I also want to go back to and play again. Because just like with Far Cry 2 and 3, I've only played about like an hour or so of Far Cry Primal. Moving on, got Far Cry 5 on PS4, the limited edition, which comes with the Outlaw pack and the Chaos pack. The gold edition of this comes with Far Cry 3 Classic Edition, a digital code. My dad has the gold edition of this, and that's why Far Cry 3 Classic Edition was already on my PS4. But yeah, I didn't get my own copy of Far Cry 5 until like Christmas of 2018, which is this copy. But yeah, complete. Then we have, this was actually the first Far Cry game I brought on launch day. Well, I actually pre-ordered it. This was the first Far Cry I pre-ordered. Far Cry New Dawn, which is basically the expansion to Far Cry 5. Takes place 17 years after the events of Far Cry 5. And yeah, it's still the same map, but it's got a new coat of paint on it with a whole post-apocalyptic theme to it. And yeah, also complete, as you can see. And then last but not least, we have the newest entry released 2 weeks ago on October 7th, which was my birthday, Far Cry 6. I'm currently about 7 hours into this game and I'm really enjoying it so far. I can't wait to play more of it. I want to beat this and then go back to some of the older Far Cries. I kind of want to beat them in order, so I want to like beat Instincts first and then like beat the other games in order. So after Instincts, then 2, 3, 4, Primal, etc. But yeah, but Far Cry 6, I'm really enjoying this game so far. Most recent entry into the series so far. Only released a few weeks ago. Alright, there you have it. That is my entire physical Far Cry collection. I will quickly show you guys some of the Far Cry games I own digitally on Xbox 360 and PS4. Let's quickly turn on my Xbox 360 and I'll show you the 2 trial versions. They're not the full game, unfortunately, just the trials for Far Cry Classic and Blood Dragon. Alright, so here we go. So we've got Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon and Far Cry Classic, both on my Xbox 360. Of course, these are only the trial versions, but yeah, I've still technically got both games downloaded on my system. Of course, these are both digital only games. You know, one's an expansion to Far Cry 3 and the other's a console port of the original Far Cry. Now, just turn on my PS4. I'll quickly show you, actually I'll show you all the Far Cries on the PS4 because I've got all of them installed. So I have to quickly scroll down to here. Here are all the Far Cries on the PS4. So here's Far Cry 3 Classic Edition digitally, and then we got Far Cry 4 right here, Far Cry 5, Far Cry 6, Far Cry New Dawn, and last but not least, oh shit, Far Cry Primal. Yeah, every Far Cry on PS4 installed onto my system right now. But anyway guys, so there you have it. That is my entire Far Cry collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments what's your favourite Far Cry game and what Far Cry games do you own in your collection. I'm surprised there aren't that many Far Cry collection videos on the whole of YouTube. I mean, it's literally just like me and David Aquar, who's a YouTuber I've been watching for many years. Literally, me and him are like the only 2 people on the whole of YouTube who have done Far Cry collection videos in the past. No one else has done one for some reason, which kind of baffles me considering how popular this franchise is. It's one of Ubisoft's biggest IPs, yet like only 2 people on the whole of YouTube have done collection videos on the series. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and peace.